Okay, here we go at the start of Game 1, BlackBerry versus National Instruments, After Hours Gaming League, Week 2. Just stopping to drink some of my Red Bull, and the reason is that they're one of the sponsors of the After Hour Gaming League. We may not be using any of their fancy official sponsor logos in the Game Heart interface, but if you ever hear the sound of guzzling liquid, or because it's so fizzy, the sound of burping, which I would try not to do, it was Red Bull. It's all their fault that we're playing the After Hours Gaming League. Up in this corner, in the top left corner, 14 BlackBerry with his little BlackBerry, we have BB Mob. And winning the mana race, down in the bottom right-hand corner, we have BanjoIsland, the Red Zerg, playing for National Instruments. And already we can see the players are playing. And yeah, very, very standard play so far. I'm not particularly worried just yet. We have a very early scout from Mob. He's just ready to find out what's happening. And what will he see? Well, he's going to go into the base, and no need to follow those plates. He's got the gas timing. Notices that it's some sort of speedling expand. With that early gas, there's going to be plenty of speed very quickly. Looks like he's going to be ready for it. He's got this partial wall in coming up here. Yeah. And then his own gas. So, nothing just yet. We're expecting this to heat up. Interesting thing to note is that the National Instruments versus BlackBerry match has been done already in preseason. So during preseason there was a very close 2-3 loss for BlackBerry. National Instruments managed to just eke it out in the ace match. Very close preseason game. Now preseason games are not very indicative because there's so many different schools of thought on the preseason. Is the preseason the place to give your A team some practice before the games that matter? Is it time to experiment, or is it time to throw your reserves in and make everyone underestimate you? So, since we don't know exactly what mindset either team went into in preseason, it's hard to say what will happen here in this regular season game. Well, first there's going to be some zergling out, checking for probes. Proxies, no pylon block. Actually, the probe is there, and he did an excellent job hiding it. He could even go and block the hatch now, but maybe he wants to cannon rush instead. There are so many options. We've got these lings running across the map. Remember, the speed started very early. These lings will have speed very soon. But they're not going to need it because they're just going to wait. Run back all the way across the map. Probably saw that probe. Overlord there, keeping a close eye on things. And that's a very, very obvious proxy pylon. No chance of that finishing. Oh dear. Should have gotten the cancel. It's doomed, but at least it will distract the speedlings for a few seconds, which will make it very easy for the Mudge to clear this one out and secure the expansion spot for Mob. You may laugh at this proxy pylon placement, but in the practice game yesterday, Mob beat me with hiding a pylon there. It's a low percentage scenario, but it can work. And the mothership core enough to dissuade these speedlings. And there's only 3 of them behind this. Mostly has been drones, but now he's starting to get those lings up. recognizes that there's this opportunity here with his expand. It's going to be very hard to defend against speedlings. As they just swarm up. And Stalkers and Zealots. 2 gates. Not sure if Mob is going to be able to hold this one. Robo ready. Ooh. Did he leave the wall undefended? Yes, there we go. There's a hole in the wall. Zerglings pour through. And he's got that wall back up. But how many Zerglings got into the base? Looks like 5, 6. Should be able to clean that up. Not much difficulty. Normally the Zergling run-bys are terrifying, but if it's just the right amount of Zerglings that you can clean it up without any probe kills, then it's not that bad. And there we go. Of course, there are more Zerglings, and he left the ramp open again. Ooh. Narrow passageway right through there. Poor guys. Well, that time they got through with a couple of kills. And of course, sensing weakness, he's just ready to go in for the kill there. Being surrounded on all these Stalkers. No Photon Overcharge just yet. Mass Recall into the main. Whoa. Interesting choice. It had lost all of its shields already, so the Photon Overcharge might not have lasted too long. Sergeant York is attempting to boost his comrade with plus signs. This may or may not be intentional. There we have it. Broken in through the wall yet again. Ouch. Ouch. Picking up more Stalkers. A few more probes. I think he's been building some drones behind this. Got double the worker count. 2 base to 1 base. Strong lead from Banjo Island to start with. And well, he's stabilized in a, let's say, retrograde position. So, what is Banjo Island's next attempt? He's going to go for Ling Hydra. Looks like, as the follow-up. 2-base Ling Hydra, quite good enough to finish this off. He does have a fairly commanding lead. There is a robotics facility without support bay. You can't get the Colossus, which is what you need against Ling Hydra. I mean, or Storm, but that's going to take even longer. Cannons turtling up on 1 base. It's a understandable instinct, but really when you're behind you need to take the risky maneuvers, and turtling is a very not a very risky maneuver. The chance of a huge payoff from turtling is just so low. And Banjo Island needs to scout better. The spine is not really going to be needed against this sort of defense here. I mean, the 2 cannons, the spine needs to be a lot closer. He does have Overlords in position to do some scouting if he wants to. But it looks like he'd really just stay at home, wait, get those Hydralisk upgrades going. And once he's got the Hydralisk, maybe then he will move out. Taking a third first, scouting with a Zergling, finds the very slow retake of the natural, and that's really, this is what scouting is for. If you know what your opponent's doing, you wouldn't need these photon cannons and you expand faster, because you can see he's just staying back here. Again, if you were scouting and you see that he's building photon cannons and very slowly taking his natural, you wouldn't need the spine. You could take the third faster, or you could just build your all-in Death Army faster. The Observer is a good place to see the army coming out, but you need to see the army being produced in order to be able to do something about it. It's probably a bit late now for him to stop this. Maybe Mass Zealot would require a lot more gateways. Immortal, interesting choice, not actually the greatest against Ling Hydra. Could work on his composition there. The gas would be much better spent on sentries. And just really needed more gateways. Odd choice of the ranged upgrade instead of armor. They make the Lings even more tanky, but this is just an overwhelming force from our Zerg player, and so I think he's recognized that that's GG. First game goes to National Instruments, with Banjo Island being our winner.